Hello everybody, welcome back to a new episode of Transport Fever. Today I will try to, first of all make more money. That's kind of purpose of this game. Because I still need to pay 3.5 million in loan. So that's one. But I will also try to find some ways to get better routes started. And if that happens, I'm actually able to make more profit, expand everything I'm planning to. No, not. Wait, I'm bullshitting. Um, I will expand the lines to make more money so I can pay off my loan, but also set up the infrastructure for the next phase, which will be the train transportations. And currently things are kind of hard, as I've been pointing out in the other sessions, because some things I need can't be made nearby, and the things I can make nearby aren't needed. And with trucks at this map, a large map, doing a lot of transportation by trucks is actually quite difficult. So what does that lead me to? Well, for one thing, I may have to split my lines a little bit to make sure that I'm not doing a 1 hour route for each and every truck. That's one thing. And what I've been considering to do is setting up steel industry here. Eventually I want to move the entire steel industry I have over here by train. So I could actually start setting up a road and a train station here, which will over time be connected to this station. That also means I need to expand that station, and both are costing money. So I got the iron, I got the coal, and the thing is, I need 2 of each to produce 1 steel. So in general that means that I need about the same amount of trucks, being, let's say, 5 and 5, being 10 and 10 to produce steel here. 10 trucks is 40 iron and 40 coal, meaning 20 steel, which also means that with the 20 steel, and considering I'm able to transport 4, I only need 5 trucks to transport the steel to the next spot. That next spot could be here, this steel factory, but it's already a big distance. So here we go with phase 1, where to transport it. Now the irony, there's another steel mill here. And this distance is a lot easier to cover as this one. So technically it would be a much better idea if I pick up, in this case, iron near here, transport it to this city, because this city also needs food, so I can already do a few things at once. Transport the steel that direction and then over there. So as said, there are a lot of things messing up right now. Another thing is that I do have 2 of the 3 industries required for a fuel industry, and I do need fuel, but I don't have a refinery unless I move here. And once again, it's going to be a very big distance, so I need to actually set up something and do a big road transportation, or I should create a bridge. That's one option, or actually a boat, but boats aren't really. Hang on just a sec. Sorry, hay fever is still playing up. Boats aren't really a good means of transportation for a short distance, because I should construct a road from the well to this point, then probably take a bypass up here and a new one from this point to the coast, where I have a drop-off point where we pick up the oil, transport it across the river, have it pick it up, use a road and a truck station here to turn the oil into refined oil before everything heads back. And just like the steel industry, refineries use 2 crude oil to produce 1 oil, so I need twice the number of transports for this part up to the coast and here. Well, not even here, because I could use the coast as a buffer, both docks and truck stations. Transport it here, but I always will be transporting. This will be a full transport, but this won't. And that means you do an investment and it's costing you half of your overhead costs for nothing. This part is fortunately a one-to-one transfer, so that isn't much of a problem. But even then I still need to transport it from this refinery that way. And some things, like even if it's a short distance, I prefer to use a train for that. So for now, steel is out of the question, fuel is out of the question, construction materials are here. That's awful distance, so that's out of the question too. I do have, that's a nice part, oil well and a refinery here, so I can actually set up a little bit of oil industry. And as soon as train comes in, get a train line from Frencher to Eengem to Mitselweer to Starum, and actually transport the refined oil, because here are 2 more wells plus another refinery. Refined oil to Frencher, and that's going to make quite some money. I can pick up oil here, I can pick up fuel here, so that would make life a lot easier. Because the fuel I'll pick up here, I could drop off here, and I can drop it off over there, as well as the oil. So that means these oil wells may actually work as both supply and as a feeder. Now, what else do we have? Goods. Goods need plastic and wood. And once again, I need a refinery. I don't have a refinery, so that's problem number 1. machinery needs steel and plastic. So I got enough options to produce the plastic, but I don't have the option to do the refinery unless I have to do the river crossing or take it here, and I don't have the ability to produce planks anywhere, at least not nearby. So for now I'm kinda locked, unless, as said before, I actually want to do the sort of, yeah, I won't call it a cheat, but it's a kind of abuse to deliver stuff to the next stage of the factory, get the money for it, but no output. I want to have full lines because it feels more natural. That's one thing. And at the same time it also is a little bit more, well, I said natural, realistic. That's basically the same stuff. Look, here we're producing food, so that's awful distance away. But it's more realistic to actually do a full chain. That's number one. And second of all, it doesn't feel right. It's something the developers put in the game for whatever reason. I don't know what their reasoning was, but they decided to put it in. Fine. But it's making things like making money a lot easier, but in my opinion also somewhat too easy. And I prefer to do things the hard way, even if I'm not playing on a hard level map. At least it's more fair. You can name it whatever you like. So what else do we have to do? Well, I think I have to do some adjusting of my stay routes, because it looks like my buses are, especially that one, the counterclockwise buses are full. Some others are too. And I said I've been considering to set up a bus route here. No, not a bus, a tram, to make sure that I'm able to transport more passengers. And I may actually start doing that now, because that would pull some, not all, but some of the passengers away from here. I also realized I've got a problem, and I better change that first. Wait a minute, this is already owned by me. Why do we have a residential building here? Because this will remove the tram track. That's mine. So what the heck is that house doing there? So, tram tracks. Well, I could do this. And I already have a part here, so switch back to the overside. And people like to visit the commercial area, so I could actually drop off passengers here, have another tram, pick them up and do an outside trip. It still may cause some problems with this bus station, because there are way too many passengers over there, but all those passengers are from this residential area. And as we can see, it's a tier 4 building, and look at this, 16 residents living there. So it's the highest one we can have. So yeah, setting up counter clock, so that one's going this direction. So it's actually picking up full passengers and then need to pick up another batch, because everything they pick up here wants to move to this nice blue area. So the first stop it's already full, and because of that I'm unable to pick up passengers over there. So how to solve that? Well, one thing, like I said, is a tram. Starting here, moving outside again, doing this, and that's a commercial area. So I can actually force passengers for the commercial stops to get out here. Then, yeah, sounds like a plan. So let's do that. First, upgrade. I need a bunch of tram lines. Build that road. Doesn't matter, it's there, let's use it. Because that way I got slightly shorter. Now we're going to do one other thing. First of all, we're going to add a passenger station. Or 2 passenger stations. Change the bus lines as well. This time I'm actually going to do it while the game runs. But I need to open a few lines for that for a moment. So sorry for the mess. free. This one. And there's a tram. I think I've got a plan. Street access. Sure. Right, now I can move one tram to platform 6. Let's see what happens. That works quite well. I can move the new trams. I think I've got a problem if I put a tram line here. Let's see what happens if I move this bus to 6. That works quite well, which means you can go to Terminal 2 and the other bus to 5. That works too. So the 2 bus lines. Yeah, that works quite well. And now I've got the room to add 2 tram lines. And let's start doing a clockwise route. That won't help. Because I've got stations. New attempt, new line. First of all, main station, clockwise. There it is. Everything back to 10 seconds. That's one. Next, new line, and that one's heading counterclockwise. I most likely have to change the platform it's using. Yep. And I was afraid this would happen. This is what I was hoping to avoid, getting a loop. I will do something about that in a bit. So the clockwise bus is doing well, the clockwise tram is doing well, the counterclockwise bus is doing well, but the counterclockwise tram is having problems. What happens if I switch the bus? No, still doing a loop. Best way to solve this. That's number one. And number two. Now we have to set up the route from the last stop at station. That direction. Okay, in a way it works, but now it's crossing itself. So let's try to find another solution. I need station configure exit. And I need to wait for the money to be there. Of course, I could take a loan, but that would put me into the same problem I'm already in. I want to repay the loan, not having another one. won't work for a while. So the choice is doing a loop or having to wait in. There's maybe another solution. Which may be what happens if I do this. At least the loop here is gone. But I still have to wait for you to be there. So let's see if I like this. No. But I think this is the best solution. Because the waiting time here would be less as it would be here compared to the rest. So, route set. And now I'm constantly having that's why I was losing money. I had set maintenance up to very high to make sure that each and every vehicle was actually having was actually back into good shape and low emissions and whatever. But with the 50% extra maintenance costs on a street car, and let's see, where is it? Can't see it here, but I can see it here. Road maintenance was over $1 million because of that. And that's quite a lot of money. It's probably the reason why I wasn't making that much. So now I dropped it, and it should be below, giving me just a little bit to start investing with a few more trams. Let's start with 2. And do a clockwise. nice one. I can actually let them go almost immediately. I want to see what happens passenger wise. They can do 6 passengers compared to the 4 of the counter clock. Compared to the 4 of the coaches. So with that they may actually remove draw some passengers from the coaches, which would in turn reduce the amount of people waiting at the stations. But I also need 80,000 to add a new one each time, so this time I'm going to do the easy solution, like this. And I will have to keep an eye on this. Because, yes, I want to have that at least below the 2 minutes. Here's a bus coming. Well, we got 1 passenger. Number 3. I may be lucky and manage to do this with 4 trams. Otherwise I'll be doing 5. It looks like the first tram is actually starting to pick passengers up, which is a good thing. Let's see if I'm already... No, they still want to take the bus. I need 80k. Bingo. I'm going to need 5, okay? Because this one is doing fine with close, but that one is too far off in my opinion. We see one passenger waiting for the tram here. While we also see that it's slowly the amount of passengers starts to increase. So that's a good sign. I also see that this tram line is still making a minor loss. So I will have to do an overview later because I'm losing too much money at the moment, and it can't be only this. Especially when I notice that I'm doing 163 on this tram line. Yes, of course, it's my investments that's listed here, and I've been buying 8 and in a bit 10 trams, and that's over 300,000, close to 400,000 actually. That kind of makes sense too, but still, crap. used the wrong combination. So the final ones, counter clock, and clockwise, and both are nicely below the 120 seconds, so I'm pretty sure things will become better now. Five, and number one immediately after it. That's not really what I hoped for, as we can see up here, or here. But yeah, we got people being pulled from the bus into the tram line now. So that's a good thing. And it's only those two trams which are making a loss. So the negative balance is simply caused by the investments of the close to 400k. And one wants to take the bus. That guy wants to take the bus. Okay. So yeah, the negative numbers are simply caused by the investments in a new tram line. And I'm pretty certain if I look up here, there are actually people waiting for the counter clock line as well as the outer lines. So, but this remains a problem. So one solution would be covering up the tram line, covering a part of this bus line by the tram, but I'm not fond about it. Because it would basically make my buses obsolete. But I still need those buses. If I do this, then I can still I could of course try to zigzag. But where are those passengers heading to? Industrial building, commercial building, commercial buildings. Yeah, I will need bigger buses, but that's going to take a while. And even then, I'll be doing a similar speed, I think. And only 5 passengers instead of 4, so it's a 25% increase. But as a result, I will also get more people so they're heading to industrial and commercial, and that means Most of them were getting off here again. Let's see. So everybody is taking the bus for only one stop. So it's not even useful to actually divert my tram line this direction, because I won't pick them up anyway. But then, in all fairness, the hub system I was creating here seems to work pretty well. This part seems to work pretty well. So once again I can start looking, setting up some infrastructure for the next part. And that one's destroyed. Doesn't really matter, because I think it will be coming back at some point. What I do need, I got coal here, I got iron there, I got steel, so I got the ability to set up a steel industry here. The problem is still to get the tools there. Unless I'm indeed going to do what I said I didn't want to do and set up a partial industry instead of a full one. Aye, aye. If I want to do that, I might as well do it here. Else, yeah, that's... So I still got the fuel bunch here, but as said, I still have no other options here. So for now, I'll just keep it the way it is. I keep ignoring it, because there's not much to be earned over there anyway. Let's see, 1 truck, 2 truck, then a new one to deliver it here. That's the 3rd line. So this one runs 50%, that one runs 50%. This one runs 50%, and one that direction, which also runs at 50%. Of its capacity, that is full in one direction, empty in the other one. That keeps going well. Except, what terminal is that one using? Terminal 1. That's more like it. That farm is really in a terrible position. It's a good position for doing my food transportation instead of this one. That route is 1, 2, 3 back, a better choice. Even this one, if I direct this road, redirect that road to this point, disconnect here, then it's 1 through here, 2, 3 and back, so it's always loaded at 2 of the 3 legs. But the problem with this farm is that it's really going to block my train, my railroad line at some point, because I want my station to end up here. And to do that I have to run through here. It's going to be very close with an 8 platform station. So I'll see what happens. Meanwhile, I still have done shit about adding another good. I mean, I think I'm going to do what I didn't want to do. And transport iron from this direction to that point. At least that way I've got 1 and 2, 3 ways to make money. 3 different routes making money, even if there's no output. But it's so against my nature. It's It's also a problem. I want this to be gone, and I still got 9 years left for that. But my vehicle maintenance already dropped 300,000, so that's a good thing. Even with the new transports, the new trams, so that's okay. Railroad is just a station, and nothing on water and air, and I've been investing here in some roads and some vehicles, so that's the reason for the negative balance we had earlier. But still, despite the investment of the trams, we only, it's a huge amount of money for some people, but we only lost 60,000. And in 1820 we already had 222 in profit. If I do that this year, I can repay another loan in 1822. So I may indeed wait for a while with investing money, and although investing is always easier on now, investing always means that you get a profit paying off a bit later. I mean, we saw that with the trams, and I can actually show it now. No, they're still making a loss. But this one is really paying off. But yeah, then over time your investment does return. And that's a nice thing. But you have to take the risk. You have to invest in the money. Just let accumulate your money until you have 400 or 500 billion, while running the same routes for an entire game up to in the 2000s. I could do that. I could actually do that with this small part. As soon as my loan is paid off, I could actually keep the game running up to 2000 with only this small part invested. But what's the joy? That's the big question. What's the fun in that? I don't see fun in that, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait until I'm able to repay that 500 grand again, which will be in the next session, and I will continue until I'm paid off the whole 3.5 million, and after that I will start investing in railroads. And one of the first things I will do is start up here and connect to the east, so I can actually start making a profit out of the fuel transportation, because that's going to be a very profitable one. I'm going to pick up the refined oil here, so that means this is going to be one route. Pick it up, send it over engine to French, unload, turn it into refined fuel here, and go back. And a part of it may actually be being picked up and dropped off here. I'll see how I'm going to do that. It's sort of also depends at what happens to that refinery. Will it come back or won't it come back? that investment, it's going to be a long-term investment to do that, because I have to do it in several steps. My first step most likely will be something to, no I can't, I was about to say to set up construction materials, but it's pretty big distance. And another step may actually be to transport materials for the steel mill into this direction and move steel back into another direction. So there's plenty of things to do. I can even set up an oil industry over here. Move to the east, and I probably will do 2 routes because I need fuel here too, and I currently got only 1 fuel refinery for 2 cities, so I need to split things. But when it happens, when the fuel trains are running, it will be a lot better in investing, although I found out that the usual payout really starts after adding a second train to each route. So I need 2 routes, 2 trains for this one, 2 trains to pick up oil here, and all of that is going to take some time before I actually got it running. Meanwhile, I can still work on steel. Because this part is quite easy to do, but it's the distance I need here that I don't like. And the longer the distance in this game, the better the payout is going to be, and I'm going to repay my loan now, which means we've got 3 million to go, which means every 2 years I'm able to do 500,000. So I need 12 years, and technically 1840 maybe that's time everything's paid off. Of course it's going faster because my interest would drop. I'm doing 35k here. Previous years I had more, and I'm unable to actually check that. Too bad. But my interest will drop, so it will be 2 years from now, and most likely a year and a half at some point, or even a year at some point. But I think by 1840 I'm able to start working with trains. That's, however, for future episodes. For now, I'm saying thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We haven't done that much, but it was interesting after all. I wish you a very nice day, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.